Hey, additional thoughts for Channel Orange. What a fascinating idea, right? A couple days late. Been on vacation this week. Next week's also going to be disrupted for Mystic Styles. That'll be a couple days late as well. Taking a lot of vacation, which has been nice. Although I do have to say, it's been a little strange for the channel just because, while it's been nice to disconnect and go out, like for example, last week I was out in Utah at my dad's place and we were off-roading and hiking and just doing a lot of great stuff outside and away from computers and just hanging out by the fire and all that shit. I did find myself going, man, this sucks. Like, I've got videos where I haven't responded to comments yet. I've got videos I haven't read the comments yet. It's like I like doing that. So while it's been nice to get away, I've also found it's been nice that I miss some of those things as well. Anyway, Frank Ocean's Channel Orange. I did see some comments. There was one specifically that somebody said that they wished I had done Channel Orange first so that I wasn't always comparing it to Blonde because, I did Blonde first. But the thing is had I done that, then when I listened to Blonde, I would have compared it to Channel Orange. So these album comparisons to each other when it's by the same artist, that's something that's just going to come up, I think, fairly often with me. I'll try not to do it too much with this one, but there's going to be a lot of comparisons, I think. But overall, I really enjoyed Channel Orange. I think overall, Channel Orange is probably a little easier to get into. All the songs, for the most part, are pretty light, pretty easy to get into. Blonde has those couple tracks after Nights where it gets a little chaotic, a little noisy, a little grindy, like what the hell is going on? And it's kind of like he's crashing at that point in the album. Channel Orange doesn't really have that. Channel Orange has just got a bunch of good songs. I was going through the track listing here. Yeah, even Fertilizer. Fertilizer is this cool little, what do you call it? Not intro, but little interlude track, whatever. But like Thinking of You is great. Sweet Life, I really, really enjoy. Super Rich Kids is cool. Pilot Jones is cool. Crack Rock kind of cracks me up just because I listen to that track and I think to myself, I like this song and I like listening to this song, but I shouldn't like listening to this song because of what it's about. I should not be happy about this song, but just the way he does it, yeah, I like this song. Pyramids is really cool. I mean, I enjoyed Pyramids from the get-go, but it did grow on me quite a bit just because of it being a longer track and how it builds and the theme of Cleopatra and like My Queen is Dead and this girl working off at the pyramids. And I watched the video for that. The video was pretty interesting, especially with pretty much almost every girl that he saw had this weird like little glimmer of being ghoulish in her face. And then too, it was interesting to watch in the video how Frank Ocean, I'm just going to call him his character. The character in that video was going through this split between like tripping out and almost like being sad or upset versus like laughing and smiling, but in an over the top kind of way. That was kind of interesting. And then him being on the bike out in the desert and there's the pyramid off in the distance and stuff like that. It was just kind of like this weird, like surreal, nightmarish, drug trip, bad dream type of experience, And then you fold the theme of My Queen is Dead and this girl that I used to love, how she only cares about money now and she's out working the pyramids. And yeah, interesting song. Lost is still my favorite. I love Lost. That's just a great song. I watched the video for that as well, and it was cool how lyrically and the content, doing the album reaction, comparing it to, it being about basically like smuggling drugs or something like that and being caught up in that world. But then the video is just him touring and going from city to city around the world. And, it's an interesting parallel to draw between those two lifestyles, especially if you consider yourself the drug. Like if Frank Ocean is the drug that has to be delivered to the masses around the world, I think there's some similarities that you could draw there. It's kind of a neat concept to pair it to, traveling and being on tour to smuggling drugs around the world. What else we got? White, still just this cool little musical. I really like Monks, this cool song. I just like the idea of moshing for enlightenment. Love that. Love that idea. Awesome. Bad Religion, great fucking song. Pink Matter, great song. What else do I have written down? I don't have a whole lot. I mean, it's unfortunate just because, I have been on vacation and out and doing stuff, so I didn't get a lot of time with Channel Orange. I think it's going to be the same thing with Mystic Styles when I get to that. But Bad Religion, I wrote down a line, cursed to love someone who doesn't love you. What a great line. Cursed to love someone who doesn't love you. And this whole idea of him being in the taxi cab and, just be my therapist for an hour, get stuck in traffic if you want, I don't mind. I watched the live version of Bad Religion. That was really good. I think that was on Jimmy Fallon. I watched the live version of Thinking About You. Him beating those high notes was pretty damn cool. And then I put a note here too, because it was like the second or third one I watched live. It just made me wonder how he felt performing those songs live, especially after posting that basically open letter that he had about, that guy that he fell in love with when he was 19 and all that kind of stuff. And I saw a video essay. It's called The Genius of Frank Ocean. I forget the channel name, which is bad form on my part. I should be giving a shout out, but that's the name of the video, The Genius of Frank Ocean. Check that one out too. That whole thing was neat. It kind of talks about the whole thing with Chris Brown, whatever, but more so, people have mentioned the struggle that he had with Def Jam and how he pulled off this whole Endless album to complete his contract and then release Blonde the next day. And that whole thing was wild because he broke that down a little bit more in depth. And I was aware of the story, but I just didn't realize how bizarre the story was. And then too, it made me realize how fucking smart Frank Ocean is. I mean, that's pretty clever to find that loophole, exploit that loophole so that you can get free of your contract, release music that you want to make, and then, have it blow up. Which now brings me into Blonde and some of the comparisons I'm going to make to Blonde, in that it makes me wonder what Channel Orange would have been if he were independent. If Blonde was what he produced, basically free of a label looking over his shoulder or telling him what he can and can't do. And I don't know how heavy-handed Def Jam was before with Channel Orange. But if that's what he could do on his own, it does make me wonder how much the label influenced Channel Orange and what it was. Because when I listen to the two albums, I feel like Blonde is a much more cohesive story told. The songs weave into each other. It kind of goes through this whole experience. Sorry. Whereas Channel Orange, you get hints of that. I feel like there's hints of a story, but they're more so played out in songs that could probably be used as singles rather than songs that serve an album, a storytelling element, etc. So because of that, I do enjoy Blonde more. I was going to say a lot more, but I don't know if that's fair to say just because I've listened to Blonde so much and I love that album so much. Whereas Channel Orange, I've only listened to it a little bit. I really do enjoy Channel Orange, but I think there's just an inherent bias there. When you listen to an album a lot and you've got it, it's been in your ear for almost a year now. I think I heard it probably 10 months ago, and I've listened to it a decent amount since then. It's hard for a different album to come in and, in a week's time go, oh, okay, I'm going to have that, the equivalent enjoyment, equivalent experience. That's hard. That's hard to happen. It's hard to do. It does rarely happen. I'm all over the place. I can't speak English right now. That's okay. I'm not going to edit it out. I don't want to. I'm just going to leave it all in because, in my opinion, that's one of the things I like about this channel is, it's okay to fuck up and make mistakes. It's fine. We're all normal human beings that screw up. So there you go. I guess that's kind of it. With Blonde, having those storytelling elements and just having that kind of like different layers as he gets further and further into this hole and this isolation and being solo and being so low that he can't even get high anymore, even when he Geronimo's, all this different stuff, to just completely crash and have that, and then see him finally accept who he is and who he loves and embrace that. It's just a really, really cool album. It's hard to compete with. Channel Orange has some beautiful songs. Really enjoyed it. And what's cool is I saw this morning as I got on my computer and I was setting some stuff up, apparently he's got another album coming. So I'm all about that. Whenever that drops, I will hop onto it real time. Very excited. I guess it's going to be a mix of like house and techno music. Totally cool with that. Absolutely, I will listen to that. So whenever Frank Ocean's new album comes out, I will be all over that. Hopefully I can do it day of release, or like if it releases on a Thursday night, I'll do it the following Friday. In terms of the schedule that I post, what I'll do is I'll just bump everything down a week, and there you go. So yeah, I think that's it for Channel Orange. Enjoyed it. Glad I got to listen to it. I can see why it's recommended. You know, initially I was like, shit, maybe I do like it more than Blonde because it's lighter. I think it's just easier to get into. It's easier to enjoy. You can just put it on and listen to it. Oh, I do like too that, what is that track? It's Just Money, where it's, you know, it's the mom driving the car complaining about how they spent her money or something like that. I like that that's the same person who did the whole thing off of Blonde of, you know, do not do drugs, do not smoke marijuana. It makes you lazy and you know, careless. And I like that it's the same person that did those little sound features or whatever you call them. Yeah. Okay. There you go. Sorry for the late video. Next week will also be a little late with Mystic Styles. I don't know how many listens I'm going to get on Mystic Styles. Actually, I'll put it on right now to give it another listen because my family's not going to like it and we're going to be on the road a lot. So Mystic Styles might get shortchanged a little, but you know, there you go. I'll try and give it its fair shot for sure. And I don't know what video you'll see next from me because I'm pre-recording all kinds of shit and I don't even know what day it is right now. One of the glories of being on vacation. All right, guys. We'll see ya.